Well, good morning. We are so glad that you have floated in to join us in church today. It is nice to be here in the dry, warm, on a cold, rainy day. But we just want to say Merry Christmas to you, and we are so glad that you're here. If you're a guest with us, we just want to welcome you, and we hope that you feel welcome. If you don't mind, just take a moment. There's a guest card in the pew in front of you. If you just fill that out, if you just drop that in the offering plate for us a little bit later in the service, just to let us know that you were here. There's a place on there to let us know how we can be praying for you. We would love to do that for you. But as we gather just a couple days from Christmas, I want to remind you that Tuesday at 4 o'clock we'll be having our Christmas Eve service. So if you've got family coming into town, feel free to bring them. It's a little bit more relaxed. Don't feel like you have to dress up. Feel free to come as you are. We'll be out of here before 5 o'clock, so you can get to any parties or anything that you need to do on Christmas Eve. So that's 4 o'clock this Tuesday for our Christmas Eve service. We've got quite a bit of stuff that we've been doing this week. Hopefully it's helped you get in the Christmas spirit. Wednesday, we went caroling, and it was nice and cold to make us feel like it was winter, and it was so we had a great time doing that. We had yesterday just a really great time. I'm going to brag on some of your church members. You might not have known about this, but one of our Sunday school classes and our students went yesterday. We weren't needed at the shoebox processing plant, so we went down to Griffin, to Rushton's Hope, and partnered with Pine Grove Baptist Church, and we served a meal to probably almost 150 people. And we had a group that was there in the kitchen preparing the plates. The Fields had a big part helping get some food donated for that. And then there was a kitchen crew and a serving crew, and then a bunch of folks that could just sit and share the gospel with people and share hope of Christmas. So there was one group that was from Fayette County, and they talked about how much Fayette County didn't like them, and so how much they didn't like Fayette County, how much Fayette County has changed over the years. And it was a great time that I got to talk to them about how much Fayette County has changed, how so much changes. But our God never changes. And the hope that we have in that. So we got to have a great time. Saw so many of you guys, your fellow church members, out there just having conversation of hope in the gospel with people. So we had a great time yesterday doing that. And as just your pastor, we just love you. Our family loves you. We're so thankful to be here. Hopefully, you got a Christmas card from us in your box today. If you didn't, it's because we've been fighting for those Christmas cards for over a week. And finally, on the fourth trip to pick them up, we got them. And so, last night, during our youth Christmas party, our youth helped address those to you guys. That was one of our fun activities. And in Sunday school today, we had a few that didn't get done last night that got finished. So Gary was a good sport, but he used half our Sunday school lesson to get those finished up. But if you didn't get one, we apologize, and they'll be coming, but we really got those yesterday to get to you guys. But we just want you to know that we love you. We're so thankful for this church. What a fellowship of love it is. We just pray that each of you have a Merry Christmas. And that this is a part of it. As we come today and we worship together. Last week, we did our collection for our Lighting Moon Christmas offering. We asked for you to pray, to give, and to go. And I shared with you how some people went yesterday and were sharing the gospel. Hopefully you've been praying for our missionaries and praying for what God is calling you to do. And if you haven't given yet, we've been asking, would you give your best gift this Christmas season to Jesus Christ through the life of Jesus? Yes, we did our giving last week. That was our public giving. But you can give the rest of the month at any time. We've raised over $6,000 already. Our goal is $8,500. So please continue to give. You can give through the Christmas card box out there or in our regular service. Just mark it for Lighting Moon Christmas offering. But if you'll turn your attention to the screen right now, we've got a video about the Lighting Moon Christmas offering. Turn your attention.
Is that right? Listen again. Eso es lo que es medio kilo.
All right, see ya. Love you, babe.
calling us, Lord, to the praise of your glory. Que nosotros podemos
That's what it's all about. Each and every one of us, every church, every person, taking the gospel to every nation. So that's what we're about here at Lisbon Baptist Church. That's what the International Mission Board is about. That's what the Lighting of the Christmas Offering is all about. But it starts in our hearts. And that's what Christmas is all about. That's what this Advent season is all about. It's about preparing our hearts. We've been celebrating Advent each week, and I want to thank each family that's been a part of that so far. And this morning, Wes and Ava Harris come. They're going to lead us in our Advent devotion.
So far, we have lit 3 candles. The first reminded us to wait for God, our shepherd. With the second, we asked the Lord to come and forgive our sins. The third, pink candle, signified our joy as we wait. Today, we focus on the coming of the Son of Mary, the Son of God. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for this season of Advent that helps us to prepare for the coming of Christ at Christmas. As we read the Bible and light a candle, may excitement of Christ's coming burn in our hearts. Amen.
Isaiah 9:1-7. But there will be no gloom for her who is in anguish. In the former time he brought her into him, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the latter time made glorious the way of the sea, the land beyond Jordan, Galilee of nations. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of deep darkness, on them the light shone. You have multiplied the nation, you have increased its joy. They have rejoiced before you as joy at harvest, if they are glad when they divide the spoils. For the yoke of his burden and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, you have broken as on the day of meeting. From every boot of the trampling warrior in battle will come up, and every garment robed in blood will be burned as fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given. The government shall be on his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Almighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and of peace there will be no end. On the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it with justice and with righteousness from this time forward and forevermore. The seal of the Lord of hosts will do this.
We light this candle. We light this candle because we look forward with eagerness to the birth of the child, the Son of Mary and Son of God. The purple color reminds us of how serious we are in looking forward to the Son's birth. Dear God, as we light this candle and look ahead with hope to the birth of our Son, the Son of David, the Son of Mary, may we be prepared to welcome him with open arms and open hearts. Oh, come now, Son of David. Amen.
Good morning, guys. Would you stand with the choir as we begin our service by singing, "When Christian Men Rejoice." Good Christian men rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Give heed to what we say. News, Jesus Christ is born today. Ox and lamb before him bow, and he is in the manger now. Christ is born today. Christ is born.
that as we give this offering back to you, it'll be given with a cheerful heart, given because of what you've done for us. Lord, may we never forget what you did for us when you came at Christmas. What you did for us by leaving all your glory in heaven and come to earth in the form of a baby. Oh, Lord, you lived a perfect life. You died for us on Calvary. Lord, we praise you, we glorify you for that this morning. Lord, we ask that you take this offering now, use it for the furtherance of your kingdom, here at home and abroad. In the mighty and powerful and holy name of Jesus, we pray. Amen and amen. You may be seated.
miracle that you worked at Christmas. God made flesh to dwell with us. God, we thank you that you loved us so much that you would come and enter into our mess that we have made on this earth. God, today we continue to praise you. God, not just that you came 2,000 years ago as a baby in Bethlehem, but today you want to enter into the mess in my life, in each of our lives. Despite the fact that we have turned from you, that we've gone our own way, you still love us so much. God, as we come together this week, looking ahead to the celebrations we're going to have later this week, celebrating the birth of Jesus. As we prepare to sing these songs, remembering that night when heaven came to earth. God, we ask right now that you prepare our hearts. Still our hearts. Calm our anxieties. Let us know that you are sovereign, that you are true, and above all, that you are good. God, as we sing, may these not be old Christmas carols that we've known and the words have lost their meaning. But Lord, renew in us a passion that we would not just say, hallelujah, Jesus is Lord, but it would well up within us. Now we want to praise and worship because you have come to us when we could not make it to you. So God, we come here now. We come before you, praising you for what you have done for us. Remembering the greatest gift that has ever been given. The gift of the Son of God. God in flesh. Jesus Christ. And it's his name that we come to worship now. It's in his name that we pray on. And in his name that we lift up this praise. Amen. So we sing these praises together, these Christmas songs. Would you stand if you're able and join us as we sing?
All is right.
And suddenly it went from a silent night to a holy night. The same thing happened in the manger. It was a quiet night in the manger until the birth of the Christ child. And then it became a holy night. Let's sing O Little Town of Bethlehem. Went to be the birthplace of a holy child from heaven. I'd like for the ladies and the children to sing this first verse.
Down where he lay, the little
choir who's been working hard this year, and they did not do a special one-night cantata, but just had them learning new music, oftentimes multiple songs, because we had a great time last Sunday night with our kids' presentation, and they did a great job, and many of the adults who were a part of that drama and helped out with the Christmas shoe tree. So we hope those of you that were here, you enjoyed it, were blessed by it. If you weren't here, you missed out on a good time, I'll just tell you that. But we're so thankful for all that our choir does, for all that happens in our music ministry each week. This week as we come, I want to share a story with you. Wednesday, December 5th, 2012. It's just a normal Wednesday. Dr. Dilip Joseph woke up in Kabul, Afghanistan, a place he had woken up many times before on other trips there. The day started out normal. He went, he's a medical doctor, and they were going out to the east, to a remote village to train up some doctors. They took some people with them from another village. They went out, they had a day of training. They dropped off the men that had gone with them, and they were on the highway, headed back towards Kabul. It was Dr. Joseph and his two translators, because though he'd been there many times, he doesn't speak Arabic, and so they're driving down this highway. When all of a sudden, the driver comes to a stop. Dr. Joseph doesn't see it at first, but there's a man standing in the middle of the road, holding a machine gun. Car comes to a stop, they look around, and all of a sudden, they're surrounded by men with machine guns. They get them out of the car, and they begin to search the car. Now, Dr. Joseph is of Indian descent, and so he looks rather similar, but as they search the car, they find his American passport. In Afghanistan, that's not what you want to find, especially when the Taliban is searching. So they find that, and they know immediately everything has changed. So they quickly take all three of those men and rush them off out of sight. He finds himself that night taken to a Taliban safe house out on the outskirts of some village. They allow him to call in. He has to prove that he's alive, and they start talks for ransom. So this is on Wednesday evening, and this doctor is now sitting in this little hut with several men armed with machine guns from the Taliban. He's being held captive, and he just came to this country to train doctors, to help the people of this war-torn country live better lives, have a better quality of life, to help them the best way they can. And here he sits, face to face with America's greatest outward enemies. And I don't think it's a stretch to say evil itself. In this hut, he finds that he's been abducted, and he's unsure what's going to happen over these next 4 days. He just sits and thinks. He's trying to talk, but he can't communicate with most of them. But he does start to understand that the ransom talks are breaking down. No ransom is going to be paid for him. He starts coming to grips with the fact that this is where his life is going to end. He's not going to make it back home. What has his life been? He writes in his memoir that he started to try to think about the good things in his life because he didn't want to die angry. So he was trying to find some way to put a positive spin on this, but it kept coming back. That he's just stuck here. He's bound. He doesn't know the language. Even if he could escape, he doesn't know where he is. It's December in Afghanistan. Sub-freezing temperatures at night. He can't make it to safety. He's stuck in this place. And then on Sunday morning, in the wee hours of the morning on December 9th, pitch black outside, he starts to hear a commotion. He starts to listen. And all of a sudden, the door swings open, and Nick Check fires through, followed by Edward Byers Jr. And the next thing he knows, someone's on top of him. Gunfire fills the room. It's not until he's outside, waiting on the helicopter to come and get him, that his mind can begin to process what has just happened. He doesn't even know what he's seen. He said he was just moving, and then those images start to catch up as he's just waiting on this helicopter to come and pick him up. But he knows one thing. He has been rescued. This is a great story of this successful rescue mission by these heroic Navy SEALs. The team that came in and got him was SEAL Team 6. The famous SEAL team that we've all heard of from the raid on Osama bin Laden. But it's more than that. And I share that with you today because this story is more than a story of what happened to Dr. Elite Joseph. This is our story. It shows us where we are and why Jesus came at Christmas. Because we find that as we've been looking at this name that's given to Jesus in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. Emmanuel, God with us. We're trying to figure out who this Jesus truly is to be God with us. And what does that mean that he's with us? So we've seen that first he was before any of us. Before any of this creation, God was. He created us. He created everything, and because of that, he is sovereign over us. He was before we ever were. So for God to be with us means we had to be. He created us, and so he is sovereign over us. Last week, we saw that God came to us. God did not stay as a distant God sitting up in heaven just looking down to judge us, but he loved us so much that he came and he spanned that gap. And when we couldn't get to him, he came to us. And this week, we're going to see that not just did he come to us, but he had a purpose in coming to earth. He came for us. We were his reason for coming. This was not just he came by to say hi. You ever drop in on someone just to say hi? Jesus didn't come just to pop in, just to check in on things. He didn't come by for a farewell tour. He didn't come to take a victory lap. He came with a purpose. We saw last week his purpose was to show the glory of God and to make a way of salvation for each and every one of us. And if you're like me, I didn't grow up in church, so the first time I went to church, I was old enough to start remembering things, and the first thing I remember from church was every week when we left on Wednesday nights, before we got to go and play kickball, or wiffle ball, or volleyball, or anything else that ended in ball, which was the reason why I went to church. I don't know what the lesson was about, but we all recited John 3:16 before we left out. Because that is why Jesus came. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. That is why Jesus came. He came because he loved us so much. He came for us. Mark chapter 10, verse 45 says it this way. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. At Christmas, we think about the baby was laid in a manger. Even Mary and Joseph, who had the angel come to them, as Gabriel told them that this child was going to be special. It was going to be God himself. He was going to be the Savior. This was the Messiah who's been waiting for. But they didn't know what all that meant. Only God knew what was in store for that baby. The rest of the world was waiting, watching, looking. They knew something was different, but what would it be? He was born in a manger, not in a palace, because he didn't come to be served, but to serve. He was on a mission. He was on a rescue mission. He came much like that SEAL team that I just told you about. He came not just to you, but to come and to get you, to save you, and to bring you with him to heaven. See, we set the stage for Christmas all the way back in Genesis chapter 3, when we turned from God. So when Adam and Eve first sinned, they first did the opposite, the exact opposite of what God told them to. You know what that's like. You're like, well, I was going to do that, but then so-and-so told me I should do it, so now I'm not going to. We get that thanks to Adam and Eve. But we all have it, and we've all done it. This is what you're supposed to do? That's real great. I think I'm going to go over here and do the exact opposite. Why? Just because. I don't really want to do either one, so I'll do the one that you don't want me to do. We've got that rebellious streak in us, and we turn from God. And all the way back, the first 39 books of the Bible, our Old Testament, are all about the fact that even though we've turned from God and we've rebelled against Him, He is calling after us. He's sending His prophets to say, I love you. And throughout those prophets is woven this sense of a coming Messiah, of something better, of something more, of not just God sitting back and saying, come to me, but of saying, and one day I am going to come for you. And it all culminates at Christmas. We know the prophecies. So we just talked about in chapter 14 of Isaiah. A few chapters earlier, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2 says, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them has light shone. When Jesus came at Christmas, He brought light into the darkness. It was a dark world. And that's the way Isaiah describes it. We were lost in our sin. We were so lost we didn't know which way was up. It's the story of Dr. Joseph. He was in that hut, in the darkness, in a foreign land, evil all around, and he didn't know which way to go, even if he could have gotten through. That's where we are. We've been in the darkness. We've been there where we don't know which way is up. We don't know which way to go. We don't have any direction, and we don't have any clue how to get ourselves free. Some of you have been in church for a long time. Some of you have known Jesus longer than I've been alive. But if we're honest with ourselves, in our hearts, deep down, as good as our behavior might look, as pristine as our moral record might be, we might get an S for every single report card for our behavior. A 4.0 in every class. Deep down in our hearts is rebellion. Deep down, we are still so drawn to our sin. As much as we come to church on Sunday and we say, no, I love Jesus. Yes, we love Jesus. There's a part of us that loves sin, that loves the darkness. And we're trying to fight against it, but it's still there. It's still deep. And we still need to be free. we found as hard as we've tried, we can't free ourselves. No matter how hard we try, no matter how many programs, no matter how many Bible studies, no matter what we do, we can't free ourselves. Just as Dr. Joseph was sitting in that hut, he was bound, he couldn't move, he couldn't get himself free, no matter how much he wanted to, no matter how much willpower he had, no matter how hard he tried. We, like him, need a Savior. Christmas is about not good times with family, dropping a few dollars in a red note, helping out or paying forward when we're at the grocery store. It's about remembering the birth of the Savior. See, Dr. Joseph had to come to grips with his impending death. He said he came to the point that he just knew that he wasn't ever getting out of there. Once the ransom wasn't going to be paid, as much as he tried, he saw there was no hope. He saw this was the end. Nobody was coming for it. They weren't going to let it go. They certainly weren't going to just release it. Today, that's where some of you are. In your life, you're looking around and you say, there's darkness everywhere and I don't see any light. Every attempt that I've made, everything that I can think of hasn't worked. No matter how hard I try, it's just darkness. There's just anxiety within you about every little thing. And as much as we're told Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year, you're just trying to hold on to get through Christmas. Because you know as soon as Christmas is over, everything that you've been holding on to, the holidays will be gone, family's going to scatter, and everything's just going to fall apart. And all you see is darkness. You don't even see a little glimmer of light. And as you're struggling, as you're turning, you can't find which way to go. You're looking ahead to 2020, and it's not a blank slate for you. You're not saying it's going to be all new. You're saying, I know. Say the economy is about to take another crash. We've got an election coming up, and what's going to happen with the politics of the day? You're worried about every little thing. You don't know what's going to happen with your job. You don't know what's going to happen with your health. You don't know. Because we've been listening to the media. We've been listening to the world. We've been listening to all the voices, and not one of those voices that we've been listening to day in and day out has been telling us that God is still sovereign and He is seated on His throne. Christmas is about remembering who God is. And when we feel like we can't see the light, it's to remember that the light comes to us. That's why Jesus came. He busted onto earth. He came onto the scene like that Navy SEAL team busting through that Taliban stronghold. He came into the darkness with a power and a force, not just to sit in the darkness with you, but to pick you up and take you with Him. I know. We're talking about a little baby born in a manger in this little village that we'll generously call a town called Bethlehem. In the middle of nowhere. I don't know that I call that busting onto the scene. I don't know that that's the force that I'm expecting. I'm thinking Liam Neeson and Taken, like he's coming and he's taking names and he's coming for you. Jesus didn't come in like that. Seems like he took his sweet time. 39 books of the Bible. At least 4,000 years. Doesn't seem like Jesus was in a big hurry. The Bible tells us, just like any good rescue operation, it has to be just right. See, that rescue operation that SEAL Team 6 put together, it didn't just happen. They didn't just decide one day, hey, there's a guy in Afghanistan, we should go pick him up. There was reconnaissance that had to be done. There was analysis of all the information. There had to be planning. As soon as they found out he was gone, the U.S. intelligence and military services, they were all at work, working together, putting together this plan. They finally get a plan after all that work is done. There have to be preparations. The materials have to be put together. The team has to be called. The team has to practice the raid. And then the conditions have to be just right. If the conditions aren't just right, it's called off. Everything is stopped. Well, we read, Jesus came at just the right time. In Galatians chapter 4, verses 4 and 5, Paul writes, but when the fullness of time had come, some of your versions might say, and at just the right time, Jesus came. For God sent forth his Son, born of woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. And he goes on in verse 7 to say, so you are no longer a slave, but a son. He says it had to be just right. And right now you might be saying, but what you described earlier, that's where I am. I feel like I'm in the dark. I don't see God at work. I don't see the light moving. I don't even feel like God loves me or that he cares about me. And right now, I don't even know that God's real. That's how Dr. Joseph felt as well. We know all that was going on behind the scenes. The late nights that were being had at Langley. We know the around-the-clock military movement that was happening. But all he knew was he was sitting in the dark at gunpoint around terrorists who wanted nothing to do with him. They didn't care if he lived or died. All they wanted was more money to further their cause, and if they weren't going to get it, they'd just do away with him. That's all he did. He didn't know all that was going on behind the scenes. What God is telling us here is that he is at work right now. That SEAL team, they practiced, they loaded up, they got on their helicopters, they flew out, they ended up landing about 4 or 5 hours away from where the house actually was. He's feeling hopeless. He's feeling dread as night falls, and rescue is on its way. They are coming to get him, and he has no clue. Rescue is right outside his door, and he is stuck in the darkness, feeling hopeless. It reminds us that when we are in the dark, Jesus is coming to bust through that door with a far bigger boot than SEAL Team 6. And he's coming for us. Jesus came for us. That was his reason. That was his mission. In John 8:28, it says, Jesus, while he was here on earth, did nothing of his own initiative, but only what the Father tells him. The incarnation, that's the coming of Jesus to earth. God putting on flesh. It's what we're celebrating at Christmas. It was him coming on a rescue mission. Like any rescue mission, things don't always go as we think they should. When those SEALs burst through the door, there's a little bit more to the story. The first person to bust in with a hip check, the first thing that happened as he busted through the door, he took a shot to the forehead. Right behind him, Edward Byers Jr., he busts through, he's wearing his body armor, and he jumps on top of Dr. Joseph. He's laying on top of Dr. Joseph to shield him from any gunfire. And as he's laying there, I read this and I was like, this is so Jesus. He comes in, he jumps on top of us, and he notices one of his enemies within arm's reach as he's laying on top of Dr. Joseph. He sticks out his arm, grabs him by the neck, and holds him subdues him to the wall until the threat is eliminated. As he is covering, protecting Dr. Joseph. As he's going out after the mission, we find Dr. Joseph's trying to take in everything that's happened. It all happened so fast. And he realizes that Nick Chet, the first one to bust in the door, he never made it onto the helicopter. They were working on him and attending to him. This rescue mission saved the life of one, but it cost the life of another. But it was a successful mission because the objective was accomplished. It was a costly mission, to be sure. But the same is true of Jesus. He came to earth, and we know how the story ended on Good Friday. As he died on the cross, he gave his life for me. And he gave his life for you. But it was all worth it to him because he accomplished his mission. He provided a way of salvation for you. To show you the glory of God and how much you are loved by him. He was willing to give his life. We know that that was not the end. Jesus, on Easter Sunday, was raised from the grave. And he lives today. Today, as we remember what Jesus has done, as we prepare to celebrate Christmas. I share that story. You may have heard it. Edward Byers Jr. ended up receiving the Medal of Honor in 2016 for his heroism that day. The point I would share with you is we can look at them as heroes, and they truly are. The whole team. I'll never remember their names. In 10 years, no, I'm telling you about it now. I won't remember their names. We don't know the names of the other men on the team. You might not remember this later tonight. But you know who will remember it? Dr. Joseph. I bet he remembers their names for the rest of his life. When he remembers nothing else, he will remember those men because they gave their lives to come and save him. So we come to celebrate Jesus, to remember him because he, above anything else, came and gave his life for you. To redeem you, to rescue you, to save you, to pull you up. And as John 10:10 tells us, we were in desperate need, not just of someone, but of a Savior. See, many will come. And in John 10:10, Jesus says that he is not like the thief. Many will come, but they come to take from you, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But he says, I have come that you may have life, and you may have it abundantly. He comes to offer abundant life on this earth and eternal life with God in heaven. He says he gave his life so that you don't have to. The question today is, have you seen that light? Today, maybe you've seen that light in the darkness for the first time. And it might just be a spark right now that God is showing you that there is hope. I ask you to lean into that. Lean into Jesus. Open your heart to him. Know that he has given his life because of his love for you. That's what Christmas is all about. He came for you. If you need to give your life to Jesus Christ, if you need that abundant life, you've been living in that hopelessness, it's available to you today. Jesus says, just put your faith in me. Trust me. Acknowledge me as Lord and as Savior. In just a few minutes, I'm going to be down front. If you need to do that, I encourage you to come. I'll share with you how you can do that today. Maybe you've given your life to Christ. Maybe you've been a Christian for years, but you found yourself wandering away from the light. You've wandered back into the shadows. You still know the way, you still know he's there, but you kind of wandered away. Maybe today you need to come and say, Jesus, before we celebrate you, I need to remember what you've done for me. There's some areas of my life that I've willfully walked away from you, and I need to come back. And I need to ask your forgiveness and your grace. The altar is going to be open. I'll be down front. If you need someone to pray with you, if you have any other decision to make, if you want to give your life to Jesus Christ, I invite you to come this way. I'm going to ask you to stand with me, and I'm going to pray for us. And then as we sing, we'll offer an invitation for you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. That you loved us so much that you came yourself into our midst. And you are coming today just asking for us to invite you in. God, we thank you for the light that you bring, for the hope that you bring, for the rescue mission that you came on. If there's anyone here who needs to receive you today, God, I pray that you would draw them to yourself during this time. Any other decision that needs to be made, God, we pray that you would work powerfully as we close our service with this invitation to come to you. We pray in Jesus' name. You come as we sing. much as we don't like to admit, are broken in our own ways. But Jesus is enough to put us back together. Let's make sure we're going to Him this Christmas with everything that we are, with all of our needs. We are so glad that you have been here today. We hope that you'll come back and join us on Tuesday at 4 o'clock for our Christmas Eve service. It's going to be a special service. If you can be here, you won't want to miss it. But it'll be at 4 o'clock, and we'll be out here before 5 o'clock so you can get wherever you need to go. But if we don't see you, I pray you have a very Merry Christmas and a great week. So I want to pray over you, and then we're going to be dismissed today. We're so thankful for the time we've had together. Let's pray. God, we thank you for this day. A gloomy, dark day. But God, you shine through the darkness. And no amount of clouds can keep you away. whether that be outside in the sky or in our own lives. God, you press through with a power like we have never known before. So God, I pray for each one here that this Christmas, this week, they would know you in a new way. God, as we celebrate Emmanuel, God with us, that you would truly be with each and every one of us in every way. And we would know your love in a new way than ever before. Be with us now as we leave here today. Help us to go with the joy that comes only from Christ. For it's in his name we pray.